especially when working with the last couple of bhumis in karmic purification, let's say 8, 9, 10 bhumis that you're perfecting, you have 6 or 7 already perfected. It becomes so subtle that it's difficult, very difficult to perceive. A perfect analogy is this: you know, sometimes the sky can seem that it's fully clear, blue sky, but when you start looking more closely, you notice that, oh, there's this really, really thin veils there, veils of these high atmosphere clouds. And then, if you try to notice the edge between these high clouds and the sky, you won't be able to notice it. But it is there because it's a cloud and sky are two different things. It's a perfect analogy for these last couple of bhumis, how it is.
And the tip.
Well, there is one particular practice for it that I'm teaching next month, suitably, in March, shattering the substrate mind, that I received from Guru Rinpoche a few years ago. So I'm teaching it the first time next month. But, basically use the jewel because the clarity of the jewel hits everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that is helpful is there is some workshop in masterclass of Tantra in Rainbow Body Yoga materials, the master classes, where we work with these aura layers. So we have first 6 bhumis inside the body, and then 7, 8, 9, and 10 here in the aura, in like thick layers around the body. So, we can focus the mantras, and this is again a how to say, like a positive side of the bhumi model, because when you know how many bhumis you perfected, then you know what bhumi or bhumis you're still working on. So you can focus your mind exactly where the distortions, where the problems arise from.
Yeah.
Well, all plates are like how should I say, like vibratory plates, vibratory spaces. So if we have a large room and you are there in the one side or one corner plucking the string of a guitar, the sound reaches the whole room, but it is weaker on the other side. So you can get it from the front, cover the back from the front, but it's sort of like hearing the sound from the other side of a large room. And this is, true in a lot of yogic practices. There are only only a small number of chakras, energy centers used, or small number of nadis. Like the most typical chakra system in Tibetan Buddhism is 4 or 5 centers: crown, forehead, throat, heart, and solar plexus. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is really common. So, naturally, if we start thinking that, well, regarding those centers in the torso and around the head, we have 18 basic centers. So much more coverage, more of those guitar strings reverberating, echoing in that same space. And then also, it's very rare to find a yogic system that discussed centers in the limbs. So maybe if you plug the instrument in the heart, it spreads, but the vibration is much less in limbs, in other parts of the body, or in the aura. This is why we have so many chakras in our practice, so that we have so many guitars, so many strings reverberating in our subtle body, that it has more effect than just playing the instrument in few places. And the result of that is fast cleaning process. Again, know-how helps, makes huge changes, huge differences. And not to even mention about the subtle centers, the bodhisattva bhumis and mahasiddha bhumis, the pillars outside the body. There is, I would say that there's nobody using those centers like we are. As far as I know, there is some similarity in some Kriya Yoga schools, some little similarity in some Tibetan yogas, like for example, in Vajrasattva practice that is widely practiced, they visualize Vajrasattva in about the size of my hand floating over one's head. And so the charge or blessings shower down into the body. But that's just a little bit like seventh Bhumi center location. So I would say that there's nobody using the centers like we are. Yeah. And that's just a pragmatical statement.